Hey there, guys. It's Mia here. I am so excited. I am super excited about this live training tonight. And I'm going to teach very simply tonight how can you make coaching work for you and why it hasn't. And I can tell you that what I'm going to share tonight, you have likely never heard. I'm going to pull back the layers. My only goal is to support you in choosing powerfully for yourself so that you can get the support that you need this upcoming year or right now. All right. I'm Mia Redrick. I'm the mom strategist, business and life coach. I got started in my company 17 years ago, making the decision simply to go to work as myself and choosing that I wanted to take my background as a corporate trainer and my systems and motherhood, package my knowledge, what I knew how to do, into a high ticket offering that would allow me to work from the comfort of my home, both online and offline. And I've done exactly that. I've had the opportunity to coach thousands of women literally all around the world and transfer my systems of what I did to be able to get corporate deals with Fortune 100 brands and 500 brands, how I've been able to equally be able to do television shows, Emmy nominated, nationally syndicated television shows, or even local segments as the mom strategist, building and growing my brand. I show my clients how to do exactly the same thing. So keep in mind, when I got started, I didn't know how, didn't have a product. I just had a desire. And maybe that's where you sit right now. Like maybe you're like me, you've got this desire that you know there's a calling on your life and you're trying to figure out, how do I birth it? And so I'm going to make some assumptions tonight as I share with you how to make coaching work for you and why it has not worked for you. I'm going to make some assumptions. Number one, I'm going to make an assumption that that you are an implementer, because it doesn't matter who you invest with. It doesn't matter how great their systems are or how many other people have created amazing results in their programs. But if you are not a person that takes action, the systems that you are investing in will not work for you. So the very first thing to keep in mind is that you need to be an implementer. All right. The other thing that you need to be is teachable and coachable. So there are times when we are all knowing, right? You know what I'm talking about. And sometimes what gets in the way of us being able to grow or learn from others is that we're just not teachable. We're not coachable people. Or I often say sometimes people are not respectful when they are being taught by someone that knows something that they do not know. All right. And if you're that way, then that's one of the reasons why you wouldn't be able to create results. Now, tonight, I actually am going to pull this on its backside. I'm going to pull back the layers, and I'm going to talk about why coaching probably hasn't worked for you. And I'm going to share some things that I've never shared before about the industry. And I'm going to make some assumptions that you are an implementer, that you are a go-getter, that you can create results for others, that your primary desire is to stand in your purpose. And it's not just money, 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 right? It's literally that you got gifts that are heart-centered and you want to create impact with those gifts. That if I were in front of you right now, even if you don't have a package or a service or a program, that you would be able to change my life in some way based on what you know how to do if I were the right client for you. I'm going to make that assumption. And if that's you, you're going to love, love, love this live tonight. This is all about us first and foremost, making sure that this message is for you if you are serious about changing the world with your gifts. All right. So I was introducing myself. For those of you who are on Periscope, I'm Mia Redrick. I'm the mom strategist, business and life coach. And when I started my company, I was told by the director of a small business resource center that my idea, mom coaching, that no one would ever pay me to do what I do today. And I kept looking for someone to help me. And I invested in a coach, my first stop. And I ended up making investments in myself that I didn't even know that I would be able to create a product. But I knew this, that I was willing to invest in me, to bet on myself. And so I just want you to know first and foremost that the mindset that I want you to have tonight is that you've got to be willing to bet on yourself, all right? Because you're your number one asset. And as a result of growing this company, it's afforded me the opportunity to be the kind of mom that I wanted to be, the kind of wife that I've wanted to be and needed to be. And it's allowed my husband and I to create a lifestyle of freedom. I'm free. My husband is free. My husband's independent. I'm independent. We are not codependent on one another, and we can come together and really support one another in wholeheartedly, because we're living out our own dreams and purposes. This is so important because so many women are codependent on their spouse for income or codependent on their job. They don't know how to take a stand, right, for themselves, or what it is that they want, or everything that they want. They have to go and get permission. You know what I'm talking about, in order for them to launch. All right. So I'm going to jump into this live today. I always like to share my story because I've been married for 25 years this December. And when I made that decision 17 years ago to invest in myself, I never asked my husband permission to move forward. I said, babe, this is what I have to do for me. This is what my purpose is, my calling is, and I've got to do it. And so if you're that person out there that you know what you want to do, but every time it's time to launch and go big for yourself, you use other people as a shield or an excuse to launch, this live might not be for you. Okay. So I'm going to jump right in. I hope you guys are ready. I'm talking tonight about how to make coaching work for you and why it likely has not. And it's going to be for those of you who have already invested in a coach, okay, and maybe it hasn't worked for you like you thought. And it's also going to be for those of you who are thinking about making a significant investment in yourself, and you're trying to figure out, what do I gauge? What do I consider? I'm going to break that down for you today. I've got, let me see, 9 simple points. So I hope this will help you 100%. All right. So here's the first thing. If you're ready, you know what I want you to do. If you're ready, I want you to write here, I'm ready, because I do think that for a powerful message, you have to be ready to receive. And I'm going to bring my A game as always. But if you're ready, I want you to write and post here, I am ready. All right. And then we'll get started. 100%. My only goal is to support you in knowing exactly how to make coaching work for you, and also to really get perspective on why coaching hasn't worked for you in the past, and share some best practices, things that have probably gotten in the way. Arnia, she writes, I'm ready. Okay. I'm so grateful that you're here. Welcome to my live. I don't know that I've seen you here before. Okay. So Valerie says, I'm ready. Awesome, Valerie. You're always ready. So how about that? All right. So, and Arnia, you're listening. Awesome. I'm glad that you are. Okay. All right. So number 1. So why has coaching not worked for you? And how do you make coaching work for you? Number 1, the first thing that I think gets in the way for many people is that you haven't invested in what I call a full solution. And so I'm going to go all in on this. All right. So if you are that person and you have consistently made investments in yourself, and you find that there's no yield, like you're like, I invested in all of these programs, or I invested with all of these people, and you haven't realized what you wanted. And so one of the reasons that that coaching hasn't worked for you is likely you haven't invested in a full solution. What do I mean by that? So most people invest in what I call Band-Aid coaching. That means that you know that you need, I'll use me for example, you know that you need support with packaging your product, right, as a high ticket offering. And you also know that you need support on how to price that product, right? And that you might need support also with how to market or position that product, right? So that other people will know about you and know what's distinct about you to come to you. And then you also need to know how to find buyers, right? So all the 4 things that my coaching does. But let's say you decided that instead of investing in a full solution, you would just find someone that could teach you how to build a course. Okay. And so you start to package together something that would seem to you like a product or a service. And in your mind, you're believing that you are doing what you need to do, that you invested in the right thing. But the problem is that if you look at your background, your gifts, your talent, your education, and your experience, you package something that undersold who you are. So one of the things that has gotten in the way is that you didn't invest in a full solution. You invested in a Band-Aid. You saw something that you thought would be a fit for you because maybe the price was low, like, $1,000, under $2,000, something like that. And you were like, ha, I can get this done for $2,000. But what you didn't understand, I'm really teaching this here. What you didn't understand was that you undervalued your product from the beginning. And so one of the things that I think is really important to understand when you're investing in a coach or a coach solution is to always invest in a full solution. So let's say if you wanted to be a consultant and sell what you have as high ticket offerings, both on and offline, and you want to work from the comfort of your home, but instead you build out a course that you sell for $97, do you see the mismatch, right? One would allow you to sell what you have for maybe $10,000 or more, and the other, per client, and the other is allowing you to sell what you have as a course for $97 or $200, and you've undervalued what you bring to the table. Is this making sense, or is this making sense? I want to break this down. And I think one of the common mistakes that people make, because they have the right intentions, and maybe you are an implementer, and maybe you're teachable and you're coachable and you did everything right. But the problem is that you didn't invest in a full solution. So now you still need to know how to increase your prices. You still need to know how to build a better course. You still need to know how to market who you are, what you bring to the table, 10, 20 years of experience. You still need to know how to stand in your value. You still need to know how to market to attract high ticket investors, but you invested in a system that showed you how to invest in people who aren't investors. Right? So you've built an entire business with people who are low ticket investors. So imagine that you wanted to attract clients that would pay you for high ticket offerings, but you only marketed a product that was $97 to a completely different demographic. I'm teaching right now. So if you're getting value, I want you to write, I'm getting value. If you're getting this, if you're understanding this, I want you to get this, because this is one of the things that completely gets in the way. It's a conversation that I have weekly with prospects who have considered working with me and then sign up working with me, is that a lot of them have already been investors and they had the best intentions and they did the work, but it was what they didn't think about, which was the full solution. Like, what is it that I really and truly need that gets in the way? And I always like to think about that. I regress everything against when I first got started in my company, because I only decided to work with my coach because she represented the lifestyle that I wanted. She was free and I wanted to be free. And I knew I couldn't be free selling things for just $97. I would be in a business that was all hustle and grind, and I just did not want that. All right. So I hope that that makes sense. Thanks, Valerie. You have to invest in the full solution. Number 2. All right. Today I'm talking about how to make coaching work for you, and also why coaching likely has not worked for you. And so number 2, I want you to think about this, is that maybe your coach or your coach, your teacher, your mentor, they might be teaching information instead of transferring their knowledge. I'm going to break this all the way down. And so if you've ever said, like, what's wrong with me? So sometimes what gets in the way of you being able to realize the goals that you have is that maybe what you're being taught is just information versus the coach who's created success teaching you the direct step-by-step process that they use in order for them to create the success. There is a difference. So one of the things that I do in my business, in my company, and my clients will attest to this, is I show my clients exactly what I do. I teach them exactly what I say. I show them exactly the step-by-step systems that I use to create results, right? So they're not learning information. What I'm able to do is transfer to them the step-by-step systems that I've used to create results. I'll give you an example. A lot of my clients, when they came to me, they never did media at all. And as a result of working with me, a lot of my clients begin to do media because I teach my media formulas, the exact step-by-step system. I don't give them information about media or how to get media potentially, right? I show them exactly what I did to get media. I tell them exactly what I've said. I showed them, I was just on a coaching call tonight and I was teaching them about sound bites, specifically how to do it. I actually wrote out how I would do a sound bite for a segment that a client was asking about. So why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because maybe you thought something was wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you, okay? If you've invested with the coach or teacher trainer and they're teaching you information, maybe something that they've learned versus teaching you actually what they do, then it's going to be really difficult for you to create the same results because the difference in the information is the step by step. Does that make sense? And remember, information is something that you can simply Google, right? And I already talked to you guys about this. So the reality is that you want to work with someone that pulls back the layers, teaches you what they do, the step by step. I'm breaking this all the way down. Number 3. The third thing that you need to keep in mind in terms of how to make coaching work for you and why it likely hasn't is you likely have invested in or at a lower level, so you're getting lower level advice. And this is something that I see all the time. All right, because you have this big dream, you have this passion, this calling that's on your life, and instead of you standing in your value and owning your dream and investing in yourself at the highest level and knowing that you deserve it, instead you see a shiny object that says, $500 or $200 or $197, and you're expecting to build a 6-figure business with a course that was never intended to support you with that primary result. I'm being honest with you. I'm breaking this down. Okay. So one of the reasons why coaching hasn't worked for you yet, okay, is because when you're making an investment, you're actually not making investments that are congruent with the goals that you want. So whenever I make an investment in myself, I'm a high ticket investor in myself. I know that I'm worth it. All of my coaches that I've worked with are free full-time entrepreneurs. They all have proof that they work from the comfort of their home. That was always really important to me. And they all teach step-by-step systems, very important to me because that's what I need to know how to do, right? Like I don't need to read a book or have a whole lot of information. I actually need to know, what did you do to create the thing that I want to do? But I've never expected a course for a free challenge or a $97 product or a $197 product to be the solution for my entire life, okay, in business. And if that's been your mindset and you've done it, because sometimes we do it with the best intentions because we're thinking, if I invest small, I'll see how this works. But I'm going to tell you how it's going to work. If you have no intention to invest in yourself at the highest level, you're not going to get a full solution. You're not going to get the full answer. And likely you have seen that through these free challenges, these courses that keep you there just enough, right? So that they want you to buy that next thing. And if that's the case, why not do your due diligence and invest in yourself at the highest level the first time? A lot of my clients who come to work with me within 6 weeks, usually within 6 to 8 weeks, the vast majority do create a premium product. That means that they come, they have no idea how to create a premium product, and within 6 to 8 weeks, they create a product that they can sell the world with. Is it 100%? No, it's not 100% anything, but about 80%, 85% of the women that start with me create a product within 6 to 8 weeks. I think it's an amazing track record. Well, why? Because they make an investment to learn how to do that from the very beginning, and that they didn't invest in a Band-Aid. Okay. Yes. And they didn't invest in a Band-Aid, Crystal. Right. And, that's really important. If you invest in a Band-Aid, you're not going to have the answers that you need. All right. Is this making sense? All right. Is this making sense? All right. Number four, Crystal writes, yes, I need the process, the full solution. Absolutely. Number 4, perhaps you're being taught, sometimes I have to read my own handwriting, right? So perhaps you're being taught to sell information like everyone else. So you feel like the market is saturated. Have you ever been that person that whenever you think about offering what you learn to offer in these courses, right, that or programs, you're like, but everybody else is doing what I'm doing. Like I hear this all the time. People told me, that start working with me, like, I want to do this, but like there's so many people doing it. And the reason that you feel that way, because a lot of times people tell you to build your big business based on copying what other people are doing, copying their prices, copying their content, copying their approach, copying their brand. Look, I'm breaking this down. Okay. Now, okay. Or maybe you've been told to sell information. So you look at what somebody else is doing and you model what you're doing based on what they're doing. Because some people say, look, search, find 5 to 10 people doing what you're doing and, and do that, right? Because people are buying it. But maybe that's the reason why coaching hasn't worked for you, right? Well, because what I teach my clients to do instead is to sell their differential. Yeah. Okay. Like you got to understand this, that you are put here with a very unique purpose. You were designed for a specific reason to create impact on in this world, to leave a legacy based on your gifts and your talents. And I can tell you that whatever that purpose is, it is not Googleable. Okay. It's a calling that's on your life. It's something that's inside of you. So if you feel that what you're meant to do, you have to search it to do it, it's not what you're supposed to do. All right. I'm telling you. And like the reason why coaching has not worked for you, and the reason why people who teach you to copy what other people are doing, they may have short-term success. Sure, you can have success copying people, right? But long-term, there are other things that happen that create insecurity. You have to always find a new person to copy, right? Because it's not yours. And also it creates insecurity within. So the price is great. So maybe the reason coaching hasn't worked for you is because you've been told to do that. You haven't been told that build what you know. Okay. Stand on what you know, package what you know how to do. Maybe you haven't been taught the best practices on how to do that, how to sell your differential, the thing that makes you unique, your talents, your skill. It's so important, right? Thank you, Connie. She says, so true. Created for a purpose. And Arnia writes, good word, right? So, and I will tell you that it's the number one thing. The first thing that I get my clients to do when I work with them is to think about what is the thing that's unique and distinct about them that they're meant to bring in the marketplace. Competition is irrelevant. What people buy from you is not based on anything other than the results and transformation you provide. And why would you ever focus on what somebody else claims to provide when you know what you can do for someone? If you build a business based on results and transformation, that's what you get known for. If you guys search me, right? And I've been in business for 17 years. Hey, Kyla. And you've been in business for 17 years. And you said, what has me been doing? I've been doing the same thing. Okay. There's a reason for that. Okay. I don't have like 50 programs. There's not 20 programs. They're not 10 programs. I've been doing the same thing. Why can't I do the same thing year after year? Because they create tremendous results. There's no reason to change that which works. You just go deeper and you tweak it and you make it better. All right. So I want you to understand that if you've been taught to look at what other people are doing instead of look within, right? You already know that the advice you're getting is the wrong advice. You can't build a solid foundation when someone's telling you not to look at your own, right? Like look at your own foundation, right? Within is what will be the most solid thing you could ever provide for someone. Number 5, I'm talking today about how do you know? How do you build how do you know where to invest? And how do you know why the investments you've made coaching wise have not worked for you? Number 5, you probably have been told even to implement the wrong things first and the most important things last. I see this all the time. Okay. People come to me and they've been told to do things in the wrong order. Okay. So What do I mean? That means that you've been working with someone, you wanted to monetize in your business, but you never learned how to sell until month 12. And the reason that you didn't learn that is so that the person could upsell you to selling, right, in month 12, right? And then you stay on with them another year. I think one of the reasons that people aren't successful in coaching consulting is because, as I mentioned, you're not investing in the full solution, but also we aren't always taught to implement the right things in the right order. And it is the reason why I teach my clients right away how to monetize right out the box, because the reality is that you can learn to fine tune your marketing, but imagine building a product, in your business right away within 6 to 8 weeks, and then understanding the basic concepts of how to sell and get out there in the marketplace to sell what you have, as opposed to waiting to month 9 or month 12. We have so many clients, I mean, literally hundreds of clients who have shared with us their results of how they have closed some within a week, some within 2 weeks, many within 6 weeks, within 8 weeks, their first product, right, with someone else, and closed at a very high level, high ticket. All my clients sell high ticket. Why? Because my focus is getting those clients right away to be financially solvent in their business, to have proof of concept. And so often we don't have proof of concept. If it takes you 6 months, 9 months to build a product, okay, that you don't even know works, okay? Listen, you don't even know if anybody's going to buy, and you've been in a program for 9 months and you don't know how to sell it, all right? And then you get to 9 months and you still don't know how to sell it. Then how do you create success in that business, right? So sometimes we're taught to implement the wrong things first, and things are not in the right order. Or sometimes the programs that are directed so that there's an upsell. And it's the reason why I teach clients I teach my clients to sell the full solution. So if you decide that you want to work with me, one of the things that you'll see right away is that I teach you how to sell right away within the first 6 to 8 weeks. Why? It's really important that you know how to do that right away, so that as opportunity happens, you can say yes to it. You have to stand in that, right? You got to be an implementer. You got to be a go-getter. You got to create your product. You got to be teachable and coachable. You got to have a mindset to be able to receive. But I teach you the tools because, you can begin to claim that business right away, step by step. Number 6, is this making sense? Are you guys getting value? Number 6, what you're learning, it isn't digestible to implement. So one of the things that I see that a lot of times people who come to me who are having a hard time being able to grow their business is because what you're learning is just, you can't implement it. It's like you don't understand it, right? It's not digestible. You don't get enough time to be able implementation time. So I think one of the things that's really important is knowing yourself and knowing how much time to learn, and then how much time do you need to earmark to actually work or implement to do the work. And you need both, right? Like I learn all the time, but I don't learn all day. And I don't learn every day. I'm not studying every day in a large amount of time, because I need time to actually apply the things that I am learning. And in fact, my goal is to implement 2 times as much as I learn. I'm just saying, okay? So I learn something and then I apply it. I learn some more and then I apply it. And I will tell you that one of the reasons that coaching might not be working for you is because maybe you're this person, you keep learning, but you aren't applying the things that you're learning. Is this making sense? Are you guys getting value? If you're getting this, right? I am getting this, right? I wanted to break this down tonight. I'm talking about why coaching has likely worked for you and why it likely has not worked for you. I've got 4 simple points that I'll wrap up with. All right. And what I did mention earlier is that I'm making some assumptions about you here. My assumption is that, that you're a go-getter, that you do the work, you're an action taker, that you're teachable, that you're coachable, that you aren't a negative person. There are people who you can have the greatest system in the world, but they're just kind of people that they just sit in a dark room and flick the lights off and on, right? Because they won't do the work, right? And they make other people wrong because they don't do the work. I'm not talking to you if you're that way. This is not, but if you're that person that you're doing the work and you're trying to figure out what's in the way, all right, I'm going to break this down for you. All right. Number one, what I covered already is that you need to invest in a full solution, not band-aids, not patches, whatever it is that you really and truly need. Invest in that thing 100% and stop investing in these low ticket band-aid things, because all that happens is you have to go back to the full solution anyway. So just invest in it the first time. Save time, save money. Number two, you have your coach or teacher might be teaching you just information, okay, instead of transferring what they're doing. All right, that's very important. I think that a great coach pulls back the layers. They are showing you what they did. There are examples, right? Like we had one tonight. My clients were asking me about a pitch for media. I explained exactly what I do when I get media. Another client came on and said, you know what, Mia, I got media working with you and I never, thought about it before, but it was a direct result of what you taught me step by step. All right. That's really important. Number three, maybe it's because you've invested at, you've only invested at a lower level, so you're getting lower level advice. I don't even know if I covered that one, right? So if you've only invested at a lower level, you're getting lower level advice, meaning your teacher, your coach, your mentor, they're not even in a position to teach you the high level strategy, the best practices of how things work, because they haven't achieved those results. By the time you see people doing things in abundance, there is a higher and better way to do things. And I've just learned that investing with people, the right people, the first time can save you that time, right? Because they are on the cutting edge of what the next looks like. And they're not just doing what was the old thing and the old way. Number four, you are being taught information like everyone else. So you might be feeling like the market is flooded, right? Like when you think about what you're going to bring to the table, you're like, okay, I was told to do this, but this is what everybody else is doing. And you got to understand that there is a great business of just teaching you to be busy. So it appears that you are doing something that I already know, right? Like wouldn't create a result for you. So you've got to be discerning in what it is that you are choosing for yourself. And I hope this helps you tonight. And I'm here to help you guys. Number five, maybe you are told to implement the wrong things first and the most important things last. And sometimes people do this so that they can market to you on the back end and get a back end sale. All right. So meaning I teach you everything, but not enough for you to go to this next part. And then you got to buy this other piece to get there. And if you've got to do that, why not just invest in the full solution up front? And I'm just saying it's time to be discerning. It's time to get this done. And I don't think we talk about these things enough. Number six, what you're learning, it isn't digestible for you to implement. So one of the things that gets in the way of so many people is that you're not giving yourself time to digest what it is by implementing, or maybe what you're learning is just not based on your ability to be able to receive it. But if you cannot digest what you're learning, you cannot apply it. So that's really important. It's one of the things that gets in the way of people creating success. Number seven, you are only given some steps and can only go forward by investing in the next steps. And I mentioned this earlier, but this is a really big one. So you're only told a little bit about how to sell, right? Like I was on a call tonight and a client was saying to me, Mia, how do I sell to individuals? How do I sell to smaller businesses? And how do I sell to corporations? What if I said, we're not on the call to talk about that tonight. We're just gonna talk about individuals, okay? Because I've got another course for that. So there are times when we make investments in programs and the people that we invest with aren't always transparent and ethical as it relates to sharing what we need to know, right? In that moment, they might have another upsell, they might have a course and things like that, instead of giving you exactly what you need to create the results that you desire. And I hope that you are getting this and you are understanding this, and that this is really supporting you in becoming discerning as to why how to make coaching work for you the best. And if it hasn't worked for you, why it likely didn't work, assuming you are an implementer, an action taker, a go-getter. You take 100% responsibility for doing the work, all right? Because that's really important. You could have the best coach ever, but if you don't show up, like nothing happens, all right? Or if you're that person and you make other people wrong because you don't do what you need to do, okay, all right, that's not what we're talking about. Number 8, you keep buying shiny objects instead of what you need. So if you're that person that every time there's a sale, you buy the thing that's on sale. Like, oh, you don't need it. It's $47. You buy it. You know what I mean? And then there you go down that rabbit hole, right? Or you buy the thing for $97. Oops, you buy it, right? And you are the person that you're buying not based on what you need, any discernment for your company, for your business, for the results you want, but you're buying based on price. And it likely is the reason that things are getting in the way for you, and why coaching hasn't worked for you. I've seen very few people who have just invested in, like, some $27, download, and it's been life-changing. Most people, not so much. All right. So, if you're that person, you keep buying these low-end solutions and they haven't worked for you. If they have, great. But if they haven't, then it's time to change the way that you're investing. You got to change your mindset so that you can step strategically into the kind of results that you deserve and you can create by proactively seeking the kind of results that you desire. And number 9, this is the last one. You don't get coached by your coach. Okay, so I'm just going to break that down for a minute. So there are people who make investments at times, and one of the things that gets in the way is that the reason you signed up to work with someone is so that you could learn from them, but the mentor or coach that you made the investment with isn't available. You never hear them. You never see them. Okay, they don't know you. And I'm not saying that you can't get some value, because there are things that we can do and we can learn maybe sometimes via video and things like that from others who aren't available. But if and you have a desire to, have more intimacy in your learning, then don't make investments that don't allow you to interact with the teacher, coach, or trainer that you desire to work with. Does that make sense? All right. So sometimes one of the things that gets in the way is that the people who are teaching you are not qualified to teach you. That's very important, to make sure that the people you're learning from are qualified, and that they are able to teach you, or if they are teaching you, in lieu of your coach's training, that there is a system that's set up that is designed so that you can create amazing results, that there is some level of training, maybe a certification, oversight that allows those individuals who are coaching you, teaching you, training you for results, to really be able to do that. And you need to be discerning about that, because that's one of the things that I hear all the time, that somebody signs up in a program with someone and they've never, ever seen, heard, talk to, the person that they signed up to work with. So these are just a few of the things that were on my heart tonight. And I just want you to know that there is nothing wrong with you, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with you. And that if you've been trying to figure out what's wrong with me, how am I not getting this? There's nothing wrong with you. If you are, that person that's doing the work, you take 100% results. You are an implementer, you're a go-getter. If I asked you today, show me your work, show me what you're doing, and you could show me, great. But if you're that person that, you don't have it because you don't do the work, and that you spend more time whining than winning, right? Then, you're the issue, right? You actually need to figure out what you need to do to change your mindset so that you can show up in a way in your world. So I'd love to hear from you, each of you, one aha takeaway that you got from me today. I'm also going to share the link for my upcoming masterclass, which starts on October the 17th. And it is designed to support you with packaging your knowledge at the highest level, pricing and valuing your transformation, understanding how to position yourself in the market as the obvious choice, and also how step by step to find buyers. So if you're a coach or a consultant or trainer and you've been looking for ways to be able to do that, this is an incredible masterclass. Starting this Friday, we are opening the doors for the bonus preview training, which means that you get 25 hours of my best training on these topics, and the doors open, okay, for the preview on Friday. So you get to watch your training a week before the actual live masterclass. And during the masterclass each day for 5 days, I will coach you directly for 90 minutes each and every day on packaging, on pricing, positioning, and finding buyers. The content that we have for the outline is absolutely incredible. I'm teaching you what I do best, which is how to sell and how to set up your sales process. And I also have someone coming in that teaches you, you'll see the training on how to use Facebook ads and LinkedIn to be able to grow your audience and your leads. I have another one of my clients teaching a class on how to protect your IP in your business. I have my IP attorney teaching you how to protect your best assets, right? Your IP, right? Your courses, your curriculum, your training, your books, etc., your thought leadership. And I'm teaching all weekend long how to build a solid, profitable business and brand with what you know, step by step. And the women that attended the live training that you get to watch, and last November, they closed collectively $250,000 within 3 weeks of the event. And you'll see the testimonials there. So you'll hear from them directly the kind of results that they create. So it's not just me saying this. And I will tell you that it's a week of transformation, incredible transformation. I'm giving you everything I've got. And my only goal is to support more people going into this new year with knowing and having that peace of mind of how to build a solid, profitable business from the comfort of their home, high ticket, both on and offline, leveraging their intellect. And I teach the exact step-by-step. So if you are smart, you're sharp, you believe in self-investment, you're an action taker, you're a go-getter, you're a go-giver, you take 100% responsibility for the work, it's for you. All right, are there any other ahas or takeaways? I posted the link here. Make sure you guys take a peek at the agenda. I'll post it there. Are there any ahas or takeaways, or did you get value tonight, or did you get value, right? Like, did you get value? I just wanted to do this particular training because I think it's so important to understand sometimes what is in the way, right? Like, why are things not working for me? I'm smart, I'm sharp, like what is in the way? And this is an opportunity for you to understand there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with your ideas. You're smart enough, you're capable enough to make this be a great and amazing business. The thing that's in the way likely are some of the things that I mentioned today. And there may be some other things too, right? So on the mindset side. All right, if there are not any questions, then I'm going to sign off or ahas today. But I want to thank you guys for the hearts. I want to thank you for your feedback. I appreciate you for being here today. You could have been anywhere, and I hope that this really supports you to stand tall in your gifts and your talent, and to understand, most importantly, that investing in yourself is your personal responsibility to grow. I love you. Have a great and amazing night. Bye. Okay, Arnia wrote, again, thank you, and keep up the great work. I appreciate you for writing that. Thank you.